Well, I bet you don't remember this one because this one definitely went under the radar.
In a world where people steal and kill, Mr. Chapel has a business.
It's called Vengence. Unlimited.
He has a price.
What do you get?
My fee, $1 million.
Oh my God.
Or you can just owe me a favor. I need you to find a guy. I want you to plant that. I'm gonna need you for the next 18 hours.
Am I gonna wish I'd given you the $1 million?
He has a friend.
I'm on the inside.
You work for the DA. My goodness.
And he always has a plan.
So what's the plan?
I want to scare them. Right down to their busted browns.
You are so sick. Quick question.
Yeah?
Are you Satan?
No.
Just checking.
Hello and welcome to another episode of It Could Have Been a Classic. And this one definitely went under the radar. I apologize for my voice. I'm in isolation at the moment. Yes, I've got the bug. And so I thought I'd come on and try and do a video to keep my mind focused. So we're going to be going on about Vengence Unlimited. And don't forget, it could have been a classic. We walk between cult movies and the mainstream. We go in the middle somewhere where we look for something that had potential. And this one I'm very happy to do because I've just watched the full 16 episodes that was made of this series. So in 1998, a TV series called Vengence Unlimited came out with Micheal Madsen and the delectable Kathleen York. And it's a great premise. And now I discovered this program at 3 o'clock on a Sunday morning on Channel 4. And I'm not making this up. And I used to record it because on a Sunday night, they show a lot of science fiction on Channel 4. And like they were showing Crusade, Mortal Kombat, the TV series. And this came on. This was there was like 5 programs. And this was one of them. And a friend recommended this to me years ago, over 20 odd years ago. And I watched it because I used to tape it. And that next night I'd watch it. And I started watching it. And I became addicted to Vengence Unlimited. And now there were nothing out there about it. Now, as far as I know, it's not even out on DVD. It's not streaming anywhere. I've looked everywhere. So I've had to go with the episodes that are on YouTube. So it's starring Micheal Madsen, a big fan of him. And he's called Mr. Chapel. Mr. Chapel was a mysterious stranger keen on serving justice to those who had been ignored by the law. To achieve those ends, Mr. Chapel made use of favors from former clients. People in trouble were usually contacted by Mr. Chapel with an envelope on their front doorstep containing newspaper clippings related to previous clients, along with the phone number of 555-0132. So, like, you get, like, these people find an envelope, and it'd all be in there, of this person that's fucks them over. And the nasty person's warts all over them. And he's used the law to do it, even though, you know. So somebody like Mr. Chapel turns up and turns the game around. Now, he doesn't use a gun. And he won't kill people. And that's it. And Kathleen York's character, she meets him in the first episode. And they end up sticking with him. Do you remember, like, the Shadow? He had agents everywhere because he helped them and they all had a ring. Well, I'm not saying he's that, but he's like, he has a network of people. You have a choice. You're paying $1 million or you owe him a favor. And that's basically the premise of Vengence Unlimited. And the stories in this series are amazing of the situation that happens and he gets involved with. So you're wondering, like, because we've had series like The Equalizer with the phone number in the paper, you know, and all the other sort of, like, you know, like the person that's had the traumatic event in their life and then they dedicate to fighting justice to bring people down that have ruined innocent people's lives. Yeah, I admit that we've seen that premise all the time, but this is so different. Because it's like you don't know anything about him. We know that Mr. Chappell has had something traumatic. There was a woman or a family that got killed, or there was set up. He was involved in something. You don't know anything about his past at all, but very talented at certain things. I personally think he works within the government, some kind of like secret service thing, and he dropped out, so he was set up, and obviously he got his revenge. But ever since that moment, because he does mention, he's mentioned there was somebody once, because when he contacts the victims, and the victims want the powerless to do anything against the perpetrators, he tells them, I know how you feel about the loneliness and the powerlessness and the fear. He said, I know this. And what he says to them, he gives them tickets, go on holiday for a week. All your problems are now mine. And then he starts a whole thing of vengeance. First, he introduces himself to like the villain through like some insane way. And then he starts humiliating them in stages until he brings them down. He even sets them up for crimes they didn't do. You know, to get revenge for the people that they've hurt. I mean, there's some great stories in it. There's one with this corporate guy, and what he does to it, he destroys his corporation because he rips off this invention, and this is the final episode, and he humiliates him, and you've got to watch it. There's another episode where there's like this lawyer protects big corporations, and all these kids have been poisoned by this chemical fertilizer, and this lawyer's just ruthless, and he turns up and he just humiliates and destroys the lawyer because they've got the judge in the back pocket, but there's a judge that owes him a favor, like the supreme judge, and he just phones people up out of blue and says, it's Mr. Chappell, I want the favor you owe me. And people, when they're like, yeah, all right, I'll do it, you know. And then at the end of it, he says to them when they've done their, but he says, I'm out of your life forever. And they're like, thank God, they're gone. But he's got this whole network and he never uses guns. He said, this guy's a genius, how he sets these villains up, you know, and that's what is the beauty of this series. And Kathleen York, she works at DA, and sometimes she gets him, like, she picks up on stuff and he investigates and brings them down. But it's all of it. I mean, the intro to this series is amazing. I love the black and white street, the world of vengeance, the dark, lonely place, and he's there. You know, it works wonderfully. It really does.
Tilly McGinnis, our copycat's first victim. He approached me at a book signing prior to killing her. Now, we've worked up a composite. He's approximately 6'2", 210 pounds. He has black hair, green eyes. Walker.
Hi there, Al.
Did you get this number?
Good
capture.
Oh, you made the front page.
Isn't that great?
Is that an old picture, or did somebody touch it up?
No. You're not reading about me.
You're reading about yourself. You probably even know that paper's circulation.
Actually, no. Can you hang on a second?
People being home. Where's my trace?
It's a cell. We got the number. We're using a reverse directory to get the address.
What are you doing?
You still there, Al?
Listen, you.
Just a second.
He put me back on hold.
So I mean, like, there's like an episode. He sets up this FBI genius profiler who they catch a serial killer, but it's the wrong person, and the FBI assistant tells this profiler, this genius, that I think we've got the wrong guy. It's the next door neighbor. He goes, no, just bury it and you'll get promoted. You're dealing with people like that, and he's getting book deals and film deals, and he's a profiler, and he turns up, you know, because this guy was innocent and he went to prison, and you know, he went in there and he set this profiler guy up. And it's crazy what he does. So humiliates him and then exposes him, you know, for what he is. But it's like that. It's you get a lot of this in this, and you're fascinated by all these past people, you know, always like owe him a favor. Who is Mr. Chapel? That is the mystery. And Micheal Madsen plays it beautiful in this series, as does his assistant. You know, I was hooked for the 16 episodes of this series. I really, it's honestly, it's so undervalued. I think very few people have picked up on this, and I did read some comment. A lot of people, everybody said in the very few comments that were on YouTube, they all loved it. And with this, you could have gone on for a long time, you know, with Mr. Chapel, just to even get into his background, you know, his whole backstory. Who is this man? And that's what I loved about it. And the writing of it, they keep it at that. You only get little hints that we know something happened. But what he does to these villains that use the law to get away with things, and he goes in there and he sets them up beautifully. And it's the humiliation factor as well. And I mean, like there's one scene where he's got two of the villain's assistants in one episode, and he's making out to one that he's cutting a body up in next room with, you know, with a tray saw. And he's just going through a box, and this guy's screaming, and he walks in and he says, oh, it's time for dinner. And this guy's got, I'll tell you everything you want to know, everything. And it's just stuff like that. But it goes for the humiliation of these people, because the average person can't take these people on, and he's there. I mean, there's an episode where this police officer gets involved, and they did bring him back, and the police officer sort of, he knows this guy exists, and he does speak to him up front because he helps him out in one episode, you know. But it's he just says to him, I'll change my number, and he disappears into shadows again. And honestly, I wish they had done a couple of seasons of this, because you just can't turn it off. Now, you're going to ask, is Vengeance Unlimited a classic? Yeah, definitely. This could have gone for 5 years. It was just a shame it got panned by Friends, and out in the 90s, Friends were out going high, got put out against stuff you didn't stand a chance, you know. And then when we got it 3-4 o'clock in the morning. But this series, you know, it's just amazing. It really is. It's all on YouTube. I do recommend give Vengeance Unlimited a look. Now, you're going to ask, is it a classic? Yeah, definitely. Because you could have gone on for 4 or 5 years with this series. This series should have been so much more, and it got cancelled after 16 episodes. And it's such a shame, and it deserves to be remembered. Now, I have seen like some DVD. It's meant to be out on DVD. I went to a site, but I don't think I think the pirate episodes. So there's no official DVD release as far as I know for it, because I've dug. but I've seen sites selling it, so I assume it'll be probably videotape copies. You know, it's not streaming anywhere, so luckily it is on YouTube. Guys, check this out. I'm gonna say it. Vengeance Unlimited. You're going through. You are a classic.
I shouldn't have to work this hard.